Through my work with the fellowship, I'm honored to meet and call my friends so many of the people who make Israel what it is today. I've talked to politicians, journalists, writers, IDF veterans, and Holocaust survivors, but I can say that I have never spoken with an Israeli race car driver until today. My guest today is Ariel Elkin, an accomplished racing star from Israel who is currently in the United States competing in the F4 Speed Tour in Austin, Texas. And then he's on to Las Vegas for the World Karting Cup. A veteran of the Israeli karting circuit, last year Ariel won the Italian IAME Series Championship and also represented Israel at the Motorsport Olympic Games in karting SR, where he won the bronze. Oh, and did I mention that Ariel Elkin is only 16 years old? I am so glad and so proud to have this young man with us today to talk about his own career, shining a light for Israel to the world, as well as his life growing up in the world of racing, growing up in the Holy Land, and his feelings on Israel that he has now being far away, and his historic partnership with Fellowship. So Ariel, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much, Yael. It's such an honor to be here, and I thank you very much for inviting me here.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're here. And we have so much to talk about. I'm so excited to ask you all my questions, learn all about your life. And I have to highlight again that you are 16 years old. I have children who are older than you, who have also grown up in Israel. And so I could relate a lot probably to your childhood here that I want to hear about. Tell me about what it was like living in Israel, where you lived, what your family's like, and how you got into racing.
Yeah, so my family did an aliyah from Russia in the 90s with the big Russian immigration. And I was lucky enough to be born in the Holy Land in Haifa in 2007. And since then, I have been very, very, very involved in the Israeli community. And I really feel that I feel very lucky to be born in Israel. And I thank my parents for doing the aliyah in the 90s. Wow. Since then, my parents, they have educated me to be hardworking, to always be connected to the Israeli and the Jewish community, which is the reason why they did the Aliyah. And they always push me forward to do the best that I can in order to represent Israel and to represent the Jewish community, especially in difficult times like now. And yeah, so about my racing career, I started to race in 2012 when I was 5 years old, so 11 years ago. And as you know, the racing like community in Israel is not very, very popular. So it has been quite a challenge to move throughout like the motorsport ladder. And I did really my best in the competitions when I was already 5, 6 years old, and it showed a lot of commitment from my side. And you know, later on, I moved to race in Russia and in Italy.
Wow.
And yeah, I must say that it is all thanks to my family and all thanks to my parents that have, you know, really inserted in me how hard I should be driven, and showed me the really Israeli like DNA, you know.
That is incredible because I have 4 kids, thank God. And I think all of them, when they were 5 years old, would have loved to dream about being a race car driver. And now I kind of regret not listening to them in that. I didn't even know that that was an option, even though in Israel, we're known for very bad drivers. A lot of people think they're race car drivers on the street. But do they have actual race cars in Israel, race tracks? And were your parents into racing or was it a new passion that you developed in Israel first generation?
Well, there are a limited amount of racetracks in Israel. Basically, the karting track, there are a few karting tracks in which I started. There aren't really big motorsport complex, and not really big opportunities to become a race car driver. My father owns a car garage, you know, a car service. So I was involved with cars and motorsports since a young age. I am kind of fulfilling his dream of becoming a race car driver because when he grew up in Russia, he didn't have this opportunity to become a race car driver and he really wanted to. So I'm kind of, you know, fulfilling his dream and I feel very honored to do that. And yeah, basically it was a challenge to become a race car driver in Israel, and I feel that one of my responsibilities is to give an access to all of the other children that are growing up in Israel right now, and to give them the opportunity to become race car drivers.
Wow. Wow, that is so inspiring. Just that your parents came as olim, as new immigrants to Israel from Russia, and that you were able to fulfill that dream of your parents, not only of being raised in Israel, but also your father's dream that he always wanted to be a race car driver. And then he had this son who took that on. Do you have other siblings, Ariel?
Yes, I do. I have two sisters and a brother, and they are all younger than me, so I'm the biggest brother in the family. And I always, push them towards doing their best, representing Israel, being proud, part of the Jewish community. And although they are not really into racing, I still really, really love them and wish the best for them and do anything in order to help them. And actually, my mother, she had a baby just a few weeks ago.
Mazal
Uh,
tov! Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, tada, tada. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm really happy to have my family in Israel and that all of my family is part of the Israeli community. And it is very important for me, and I'm super glad.
Wow. So it's a new thing for you that you traveled out to America. You feel probably more comfortable speaking Russian and speaking Hebrew, and suddenly you're going to America, what many people call the American dream. I'm wondering what it has been like for you, Ariel, to be an Israeli in America who proudly represents Israel, especially during these times now when Israel is at war and there's so much anti-Semitism that's rising. What's the message that you would want to give? As you see, we have so many friends in America. What's the message that you would want to give to those friends regarding Israel, especially now during this war?
Well, my message to the community here in the United States and basically all over the world is very simple. I believe that this is God's war, and it is just Israel that happens to fight his war, At the end of the day, I'm coming from the Holy Land, and my message is that if you can help and support, if you have friends in Israel, just do the best to help them. And even when I'm here in the United States, I always call my family and friends. I support them with whatever they need. Now I came here to represent Israel, and it has really been a challenge for me to leave my homeland in order to come here and raise the Israeli flag. And I've been thinking a lot about this. What is the right thing to do? Should I stay in Israel and be with my family and friends and help them out, or should I come here for the competitions and represent Israel? And I think that this is the right thing that I'm doing in order to bring more awareness for Israel and represent Israel on the world stage.
Wow, you are an inspiration. You really are incredible. It's hard being away from home when you know that your home is suffering and at war. And the fact that you're doing the harder thing, which is leaving your family, leaving your friends to go out and strengthen Israel, is just something, as we say in Hebrew, mivorach, you should be blessed for it and receive all the blessings in return. Has there been anything in America that has surprised you, or anything that you enjoy, like any of the foods there, any of the customs? Is there one thing about America that you'd say, okay, this I'm really enjoying here?
Well, the first thing that I was surprised from when I came here into America is to see the the Jewish community, how united everyone is. You go into the Bet Knesset, you go to a kosher supermarket, and you see everyone together, and it is so nice to see it because in the last couple of years, it has been quite difficult in Israel with all of the conflicts. And coming here and seeing that even here there is a really big and a really united Jewish and Israeli community, this is what I really, really like to see, and this is what surprised me. And one of my targets is basically to, unite this community with our community in Israel, and I'm super glad to do it.
That's amazing. It's amazing. I have so many fond memories from America. I grew up in America. I grew up in Chicago, and we had that, a very close-knit community based around the synagogue, based around prayer and helping one another. And it was beautiful. And then I made Aliyah to Israel, where my husband and I have raised our 4 children. And we receive a lot of visitors in Israel. And I always have the special places that I take them that for me represents Israel. One of them being the beach in Caesarea, and another one being, of course, the Kotel, the Western Wall in Jerusalem. I always loved bringing people down to Sderot to see how something in such a dangerous place could flourish in such a huge way. The people of Sderot who are always living so happily and full of life, just a mile and a half from the center of Gaza terrorists. So there are some things that for me represent Israel that I like to show people. If you were going to bring some friends from America to Israel, what are the places that you would want to show them?
Well, I would definitely take them, first of all, to the Western Wall, the Hakotel HaMaaravi. I think that this is a holy place for all religions, and especially for Jews and Christians. And I think that this is a very holy place. And to be honest, I'm very glad that nowadays it is like under the Israeli government and not any other organization, because it would be quite difficult to share for all the religions this holy place. And I'm really glad and that we have Jerusalem, we have the Hakotel HaMaaravi. And if I would bring a friend over here, right after that, I would bring them to the Dead Sea, see a bit of Israel's nature, a bit of Israeli food, and a good falafel from Haifa. I think that if you come to the Haifa city, one of the best things that you can have there is the falafel and shawarma, like the Israeli traditional food. So yeah, those are the places that I would bring my friends to.
Wow. Okay, Ariel, in the past 20 minutes of talking to you, I've totally fallen in love with you. And so I'm scared to ask this next question. Can you share one of the scariest experiences that you've had?
One of the scariest experiences that I have had, there are not too many, to be honest, because my parents kind of gave me a skin of an elephant, so I don't get very scared easily. But during my career, I had a few accidents, big ones. When I was competing in 2018 in the World Karting Championship, I was actually doing pretty good. I was placed in the top 3 out of more than 100 competitors. And in the final day, when we went out for practice, I had a huge accident. I flipped over with my race car, and it was not so nice. But anyway, I think that it gave me a lot of power and kind of showed me that things like that happen. It's life, and I was lucky enough to get out of the accident without being, without any damage to myself. And actually, race cars are very safe nowadays. Compared to what they were before. So luckily, I only had it once in my life and not more.
Thank God. Yes, I remember when I was younger,
Absolutely.
I would love horseback riding. And when I fell off the horse, they said, okay, now you're inaugurated into the world of horseback riding. Get up on the horse and continue. So when you talk about rolling over, that's a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more scary. But the fact that you got back behind the wheel really kind of solidifies the fact that nothing's going to stop you. And in a way, probably even getting over that fear because it happened and you were okay. And now you can continue to give it your all.
Yeah, and I must say that I really thank Hashem for protecting me, because during my career of 11 years, I never had a really serious accident. And I know that this is beyond my own powers, and I'm really thankful for that, for Hashem. And I really hope that He will continue protecting me for the rest of my life and career. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Well, Ariel, the fellowship has had the incredible honor of sponsoring you this coming weekend. And our supporters are people around the world who love Israel and who work to help the people of Israel. Is there a message that you have as an Israeli who is shining his light to the world for these people, these friends around the world to whom Israel is so important? What do you think is important for them to know about Israel, about what Israel stands for, about what Israel is, and about what Israel needs right now from our friends?
Well, in my opinion, Israel is standing for peace all the time. They are standing for unity, and they are standing for all of the good qualities that you can think of, as well as the Israeli community and the Jewish community and the Christian community. And I think that the message that I would like to give everyone in the world and what the Israeli community needs right now is basically the support of everyone in order to be able and protect itself. And I think that we should help as much as we can, and I help as much as I can from my side, and to continue to work with the fellowship and support Israel and the IDF. And I think that these are the most valuable things and important things that we can do right now for the Israeli nation. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And before we close, I've been asking all of my guests, from prime ministers to previous prime ministers to presidents to business people and Hollywood leaders, I've been asking them the same question before we end. I'm sure you have racing heroes that you look up to, and I'm also sure that you have different spiritual, religious, biblical, maybe Israeli leaders you look up to. Who is a figure from the Bible or from Israel, or a verse from the Bible or Tehillim from Psalms? What inspires you?
I think that King David is the person that I would choose for that. That he inspires me because he is very strong, very in his mind, and you know, he even when they were going to the fights, he was always studying the Bible, and he was always studying the Torah. And I think that this is what gave him the powers and protected him and the nation, and from everything that could put them in danger. He was a very, very smart person, and I think that this is what gave our community like the brain powers for many, many centuries. And I really appreciate him, and I appreciate what he did for our nation and how he protected us, and his strength. And I think that this is the person that I look up to, and I wish that one day I will get to 1% of what he was. Yeah.
Ariel Elkin, what a perfect and beautiful representative of Israel you are. I want to thank you so much to take time out of your schedule as you prepare for your big race this weekend to share a bit about your life and about the Israel you so amazingly and perfectly represent on the world stage. Thank you so much for joining us. How can people follow you and your work?
Well, everyone from the fellowship and everyone who's following the fellowship is invited to my race in Texas and in Las Vegas and in any place that I come. I will be more than glad to welcome the Christian and the Jewish communities into my racing activities and share with them everything. You can follow me on the social media. Just write Ariel Elkin or arielelkin.racing. And I will share throughout the social media my progress in the races. And I will continue sharing my efforts to represent Israel and supporting Israel and doing the best that I can.
You're amazing. Thank you so much, Ariel.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Conversations with Yael podcast. If you like what you have heard, please check out my weekly podcast, Nourish Your Biblical Roots, that explores the Jewish roots of the Christian faith with inspirational and ancient teachings. You can also visit me at mybiblicalroots.org for more of my teachings, videos, blogs, and books. Follow me on Instagram at Yael_Eckstein or on Facebook at Yael Eckstein. Shalom, and see you next month.